This is Rebel Therapist, a podcast for entrepreneurs who are trained as therapists and who want to level up their businesses, make a bigger impact, feel fulfilled, and be very well paid. I'm your host, Annie Schusler. Hi there, it's just you and me today. Before I jump into the question I'm going to answer, next week I'm running a free live open coaching call, and I would love to see you there. This is open to you as a listener, and it's also open to current and past clients, in case that's you. So I will see you on Wednesday, October 11th at 9 a.m. Pacific. To get the Zoom link, go over to rebeltherapist.me/question and sign up. And you're going to have a chance to submit your question ahead of time. So the question I'm answering today is one that came in recently from someone who is getting ready to expand their business beyond private practice. And they want to start offering a non-therapy program within their own business. And as you know, that is what I help people do. So the question was, should I create my own program from scratch, or should I just deliver an established method from a well-known person? So for example, and this wasn't the example the person gave, but for example, a Brene Brown. Should I maybe become a Daring Greatly facilitator and deliver that method? So here's my answer. Without knowing any of the particulars, I want to give you an answer to think through this question. First of all, whatever offering you're going to create, there's nothing totally new under the sun. Whatever program you offer will be influenced by your learning lineages and your mentors, both the mentors who you've worked directly with and the people who you've learned from through things like books. So the question is, will I create something new by bringing together many, many influences and giving all of those people credit and putting them together in a unique way? Or will I primarily use one established method from one mentor and jump through the hoops of having that license or certification or purchasing that curriculum and putting their name on the program? That's the question. So let's zoom out to figure this out. I want you to ask yourself, what is the truest, most high quality and aligned offering you can make to the people you want to serve? Which of those choices is going to be of the highest service to your future participants? And remember, whatever you decide now, this is not a permanent decision. A good reason to use someone else's method is that you feel clear that it is the most aligned choice with the most integrity right now for you to use that method. A misguided reason to use someone else's method is that you believe it will be easier to create it and to sell it. Since you're creating this program in your business, you're going to be very likely working just as hard with either choice. Whether you sell someone else's method or you create your own, you're going to need to do work around niching, getting really clear on who this is for and what problem it solves. You're going to be working on creating or adapting the program, and you're going to be doing work around messaging and sharing that work to bring in participants. You're going to be doing that work either way. In the business I'm running right now in Rebel Therapist, I've created my own method while giving a ton of credit to the people who I learned from. You really can't get through my program without hearing about Tara McMullen a bunch of times. She's the business strategist who I had the most influence from. And you can also hear me mentioning so many other folks whose work is woven into my programs. And some of them I've worked with directly, and some of them I've read their books. At this point, I am so hooked on creating my own processes and weaving together many influences and continuing to learn from more and more people. I really can't imagine that I'm ever going to teach someone else's entire method ever again. Never say never. That's just my prediction. But I'll tell you a story of the one time that I taught someone else's method to talk through how that can work and kind of what the pros and cons of it can be. So more than 10 years ago, my friend Sarah Lesser and I wanted to lead a couples workshop together. And we wanted to go to a beautiful setting with a bunch of couples and lead them through a process that was different than the couples therapy we were doing in our offices. We wanted to work together, and we also wanted to help couples make progress quickly, and we wanted to make money beyond our private practices. And we really enjoyed working together. So as we were dreaming into this offering that we knew we wanted to create, we were thinking about this very same question. Should we create our own workshop from scratch, or should we use someone else's with permission? We were both really involved in using and learning emotionally focused couples therapy, Sue Johnson's method. And I was also Gottman certified, and Sarah was also really interested in and using parts of the Gottman method. And so as we talked this through, what do we most want to give people? What is the process that we feel most excited about? We both felt like EFT, emotionally focused couples therapy, was the direction we wanted to go. Such an experiential method, and we were seeing such great transformation with that method. So we decided to purchase Hold Me Tight, which was a workshop created by Sue Johnson based on EFT. And at least at that time, you could purchase that, use her name, and you didn't even have to be a therapist to lead people through that workshop. Although, yeah, we were both therapists. So this curriculum had every lecture, a bunch of videos, exercises, every worksheet, every minute mapped out. And as we, when it was delivered in a box to us, we went over all of it, and the overall curriculum we thought was wonderful, and it really mapped well with the work we wanted to do. And before we led that first workshop, we went through the entire outline and rewrote most of it. So Sarah and I are both queer, and we both worked with a lot of queer couples, queer relationships, and all of the videos and the examples were heterosexual, and a lot of the language was heterosexist. We also worked with some non-monogamous folks, and the curriculum was really very anti-non-monogamy. So we had to make some changes there. Also, the entire section on sex had to go. It felt really sex negative to us, and we knew we could do better. So we created an entirely new sex section with other influences. And then also, I was Gottman certified. Sarah used a lot of Gottman tools too. And we just couldn't spend 2 days with these people without teaching them some of Gottman's best stuff. So we had to add that in. And we had to make room for spirit in a way that Sarah and I both care about and are really good at. So it really wasn't the same curriculum that came in the box that we were delivering, although there were pieces of it that we were absolutely using. Every time we ran that workshop, we made more changes. We brought in more influences, and we moved further away from the curriculum that had come in the box. After about a year, Sarah and I went our separate ways and stopped doing the workshop. Well, we went our separate ways professionally. We're still super close friends. But I know that if we were still running that workshop together, I have no doubt the workshop would have become more and more our own and less based on that curriculum that we originally purchased. So on the marketing side, how did the participants find us? Well, the couples who enrolled in our workshops came from our website visitors, which is through our own hard-earned search engine optimization juice. They came from our colleague referrals and our past client referrals. They really didn't come from any association with EFT. So I tell this story to say, we made the right choice for us to use that curriculum in order to create our best offering. And while we started with someone else's curriculum, we started moving quickly towards our own creation. I also want to share with you what most people I work with end up deciding to do. So after weighing the pros and cons, most folks decide to create their own new and unique offering based on many, many influences. They get really excited about creating something using their intuition, all the learning lineages they're part of, their own personal and professional experiences, and all of their unique gifts. And they find it so deeply satisfying to create an offering that's a big part of their body of work and their legacy. And that can be scary, and that can also be so satisfying. Now, if you're thinking of creating your own program beyond private practice, you can get my support. Sarah and I really could have used a coach like I am now, back when we were creating this. Head over to rebeltherapist.me/create to get on the wait list for the next round of Create Your Program. And I want to remind you, next week, I'm running a free open coaching call, and I would love to see you there. Head over to rebeltherapist.me/question to sign up and submit your own question ahead of time. Next time, you're going to get to hear from someone who definitely created her own method based on many of her mentors' work and her own experiences. You're going to get to hear from Judy Hu about how she created her method and then wrote a book about her method. So I will see you next time for that. And I've got to take a second to thank Cosmo Palms for editing this podcast every single time for the last 6 years. And he's going to be handing over the reins now. Could not have done this without you. I want to thank Cosmo Palms for editing this podcast. If you found this episode supportive, please share it with your favorite therapist or healer. That is absolutely how we reach more people. And thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.